Hi, everyone. All right, so we are going to start chapter 6a today. Chapter 6a is the verb ser and using it with comparatives. Now, we already learned the verb ser when we did ser versus estar last chapter. So I'm just going to do a brief review real quick. So we have the verb ser, which you all know means to be. So we have our T chart on the right of the page: soy, eres, es, somos, sois, and son. And then just a quick review. Remember that ser, the general rule is for that it's used for things that are relatively permanent. And when we need to be more specific, we use the acronym DOCTOR, which stands for description, occupation, characteristic, time, origin, and relationship. Now, a comparative is the same thing in English. It's a sentence that compares two or more items. So in English, when we compare things, we use the verb more or we add the suffix er to an adjective to compare things. So for example, I would say, I am more intelligent than Alexis, or she is smarter than her sister. Okay. For examples, I am shorter than you. He is more intelligent than you. So we're going to be learning how to say these things in Spanish. So our comparative formula is going to be más plus our adjective plus que. We don't have a word in Spanish that has that er at the end to make it say smarter. So we're going to say more smart than. So the más means more. Our adjective is going to be whatever we're comparing, whatever adjective we're using to compare our two items. And then que means than. So, for example, more smart than your second person. Make sure that you always make the adjective agree to the first thing being compared. This is the most important rule of comparatives. So, for example, if I, as a female, am saying that I am smarter than a certain boy, the word for smart is going to have to be feminine and singular in order to match me because I'm the first subject. So, for example, in our sentence, we say the girl is shorter than the boy. Okay, notice we used baja, singular and feminine, because la chica is the first subject. So your adjective always has to match the first subject, masculine, feminine, singular, plural. So here's a couple practice sentences. And I'm going to show you the answers. So I am prettier than your sister. Yo soy, we're using the verb ser this whole chapter. So no more estar, we're only using ser. Yo soy más bonita because I'm a girl. Yo is I am female. Que tu hermana. Tu madre es más inteligente que mi hermana. El libro es más largo que la película. Okay, notice largo is singular and masculine to match el libro. And el chico es más alto que la chica. And again, alto is masculine and singular to match el chico. All right, so you can also say that something is less than something else. So, for example, the book is less popular than the movie. I am less intelligent than my sister. So we use menos to say less instead of más, which means more. So if I wanted to say Joe is less intelligent than Lola, I would say Joe es menos inteligente que Lola. So same exact sentence, but now we say menos instead of más. Same formula, same things in the sentence. Make sure you match your adjective with your first subject. We're just changing the word más to menos. So again, here's some practice. Your sister is less pretty than me. Tu hermana es menos bonita que yo. My sister is less tall than your mother. Mi hermana es menos alta que tu madre. And the movie is less long than the book. I know these sentences sound weird in English, but they make sense in Spanish. La película es menos larga que el libro. Okay, we have, just like everything in Spanish, we have exceptions. There are only 4 exceptions, so they're pretty easy to memorize. There are 4 comparatives that don't need más or menos in front of them because they wouldn't make sense in English. So if we want to say something is better than, so I am better than you, we're just going to say yo soy mejor que tú. We're not going to say más mejor because in English we don't say I'm more better than you. It doesn't make any sense. Same thing as we don't say I'm more worse than, okay? Or I'm more older than. You're just older than. You're just younger than. You're just better than. You're just worse than. Okay? So those are the 4 exceptions that you're not going to use mas or menos for. You can make all of these plural by adding es to the end. So remember I said that these words have to match the first subject. So if it is yo, you're going to leave them as they are. Mejor, peor, mayor, menor. If the subject is ellos, it would have to be ellos son mejores que. Ellos son peores que. Ellos son mayores que, or ellos son menores que. So you would add es to the end of all 4 of these if your first subject is plural. And here's some examples. My grandma is better than your grandma. Mi abuela es mejor que tu abuela. Your French fries are worse than my fruit. Tus papas fritas son peores que mi fruta. Their dog is younger than her cat. Su perro es menor que su gato. And my sister is older than my brother. Mi hermana es mayor que mi hermano. We also have the option of answering questions with these sentences. So if someone was to ask you the question, ¿Quién es más inteligente, tú o la profesora? So who is more intelligent, you or your teacher? Okay. ¿Es tu madre más baja que tu hermana? Okay. Is your mom shorter than your sister? And then again, something like, ¿Quién es mayor, tú o tu mejor amigo? Okay. Who is older, you or your best friend? And ¿Quién es menor, tú o tu madre? Who is younger, you or your mother? And here is how we would answer these sentences. Same formula as the last couple slides. You're just going to literally write out the comparative statement. So, la profesora es más inteligente que yo. Okay. Mi hermana es más baja que mi madre. Mi mejor amigo es mayor que yo. And yo soy menor que mi madre. Okay, same sentences. All right, and that is all for this chapter. So you should now know how to write a comparative sentence. I do have the notes on here for you to fill in with me. And your assignment for this chapter is going to be going through a PowerPoint that I made, and you have to write your own comparative sentences for each slide. And you'll see the worksheet on here below this link. I also included some extra practice on here for you, those of you that want to practice extra. And again, for that assignment, you can use your vocab, use the ser and estar vocab, and use the vocab from this chapter, all of your adjectives to talk about describing the different pictures in the slides. And also, if you notice this chapter, the vocabulary is items in your bedroom. So you're going to be using comparatives with those items in the coming weeks to say things like, my bed is bigger than your bed, or my nightstand is more blue than your nightstand, and things like that.